When you find a real estate platform that aligns everyone in the entire company financially by making us real estate agents owners, so when the average agent wins, everyone wins, that's the secret to success. And when you surround yourself with like-minded entrepreneurial people who absolutely love what they do, they love serving people, they love God and life, and you put yourself in an environment of high energy, high producing, positive people every day, you can't help but succeed in business and life. We are changing the real estate industry and changing real estate agents' lives. Welcome to the Financial Freedom Forever Podcast.
Well, hey, welcome, Levi. Man, I'm excited for today's Financial Freedom Forever podcast. I got my friend, my business partner, Mr. Levi McDonald from Atlanta, Georgia. How you doing today, Levi?
Hey, Andre, I'm doing good. Happy to be on. How's it going?
It's going fantastic, man. I'm excited to have you on our podcast, and this is where it all started, right? When I reached out to you originally and see what you were up to, because I was looking to get back into selling real estate again, and I asked my wife, who do I know that's the most honest, Christian man that loves God and people more than anything else, that has a real estate team that I could maybe connect up with. And she didn't hesitate, and she said, I'd call Levi McDonald. And I called you, and that's how we all started, right? I only met you, once before that at a little real estate get-together.
Yeah. I love Beth for that. And I don't think we knew that, we had a great opportunity at hand, but I don't know if we knew that it would turn into what it is now. So it's truly a blessing. Truly a blessing for sure.
Well, thanks again for jumping on today, Levi. Just go ahead, tell us a little bit about your background, your real estate journey.
Yeah, so I guess I'll start at the beginning. I tell my story a lot. I got licensed in 2006, and when I first got my real estate license, I didn't mean to be a real estate agent. I wanted to be an investor so I can represent myself when I bought and sold properties. And I, had done maybe 2 or 3 successful flips, actually 2 flips successfully. And got my real estate license. And on that 3rd flip, I bought a house in Cumming, Georgia, not too far from where you are now. And that's back when we could actually get loans based on what you said you made. So I probably shouldn't have had the loan anyway. But I was a 20-year-old kid still living at home with moms, got a house, $200,000 house. And I was going to start my renovations. When I sold this house, Andre, I was going to make about $420,000. Wow. Just off a $200,000 loan, like no money down or anything. And 2.5 weeks, 2.5 weeks into the closing, like the market crashed. So that's when we hit that dip. That's when the market changed. And I was stuck, still living at home with moms, facing foreclosure as a 20-year-old kid. So what I had to do was I had to learn the short sale process because I was going through the short sale process. And, at that point in time, the banks really didn't have an idea. Well, they knew what was going on, but it was still a fresh process. They had not had as many at one time. So we were all trying to figure it out. But luckily, I learned it, and I learned it because I had to go through it personally. And as a result, everybody else in the country was doing the same thing. So that's how I transitioned into being a real estate agent, because I was helping homeowners avoid foreclosure.
Right.
So that was the strategy, and we were doing short sales. And I was still working a job. I worked at my company for 8 years. I sold cell phones, and I worked there for 8 years. And in 2014, that's when my wife and I had our first child together. And I took that time out to really get on my grind and get on my hustle. And I started selling real estate full time. Ended up having to go back for a little while, but I came back and never looked back. So sold real estate by myself, probably for about two years. I was a solo agent, and you know how it is. We go from famine to feast. And I could really only handle a certain amount of clients at one time by myself before something was lacking. And that thing that was lacking was like customer service. It's almost like, every time I closed, it was time to go ahead and start all over again because the pipeline wasn't full. So it's like every time you close, you're unemployed again. But
right.
and that's kind of like when I made my next transition and I moved over to the company that your wife was the broker of. And there is where I learned more things. And that's probably that's the first best move I made in real estate. Because, I learned about, systems and marketing and, making more money per transaction and all those things. So that's kind of like really how it started, but it kicked off at that company. It really kicked off there. Yep.
So like how many, when you really got your business going and started, then you start a team and started selling some units, what were you doing, at the best point there at the other company before you looked at EXP?
Yeah. So prior to that company by myself, probably like 12 homes a year, 12 to 15 homes. Went to that company, started a new team at that brokerage, and I brought on like 2 buyer's agents. There's 2 agents to help me out. And we went from selling at 15 to 60, like 60 homes. That first leverage. So that was like the first ding that went off. That was the first light bulb, right? Partnership. And, I think I maxed out at like 75 because I was only there like 2.5 years. But then saw the opportunity. The commission structures changed a little bit. I wasn't looking to go anywhere because you know how it is as real estate agents. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Most people leave out of pain or opportunity. And at the time I didn't have either. But I ended up having to look at other places and I found EXP. And when I saw EXP, it was like, wow, I couldn't sleep at night because it just made so much sense. The model made so much sense. And then I had reached a point in my career as well to where you start to look at the business a little differently. Like you start looking at it as a business as opposed to a high paid job. And it's so easy for us to get caught up in the day to day and month to month. It's always just about getting that client, finding that deal, getting it under contract, and getting through that closing date and doing it all over again. That's the way it was. But when I saw EXP, it kind of allowed me to look at real estate as a way to really forecast the future. Like I never thought about having an exit strategy. I never thought about creating a passive flow of income within a real estate brokerage. Like everybody knows this, you go out and you get you a couple of rental properties and you get some tenants in it and you create that passive income, but nobody really talks about it past that point. And that's what I saw at EXP. But really coming over to EXP, partnered with a bunch of agents. And then here locally, like on my local team, we still don't do a ton of transactions. I think we maxed out at about 80 transactions for the year in a 12-month period. My anniversary is in September. So 80 transactions, and that's the most that I had ever done, and still the same small team. So we're doing very well.
That's awesome. So you said, the model just really made sense. What were the top 1 or 2 things that really excited you enough that you would look to make a move?
So really the main thing that really attracted me from the beginning was the stock. Because even though I worked for my last company for 8 years and I got to the point where I just didn't want to go anymore, but I would always love to go back and look at my 401k account. As a matter of fact, that's how I bought my first investment property. I went against the advice of a lot of people, and I took money out of my 401k account and I put money down to buy an investment property. I felt that I was young enough to do that. But once you come out and you're working for yourself, you're self-employed, unless you are actively putting money back, there's nothing there.
Right.
And it's easier said than done because we all have bills. Like your bills come every 30 days. And it's easier to say that you're going to take some money out and put it back. But when that bill is due, which one is going to come first? But anyway, the stock opportunities, the ownership, every time we sell a house, we have the opportunity to get some stock. Every time you close that first house of every year, you're going to get that commission check that you would normally get at any other company, plus some stock. Anytime that I cap, you're going to get that stock. Anytime I introduce someone to the company and then they close, I'm going to get a stock award, and so will they. So it's just so many different ways that that we're able to get that. And I looked at the Icon Award. So and that Icon Agent Award is the one that really kind of sealed the deal for me, because here at EXP we have a $16,000 cap.
Right.
It's not the lowest, it's definitely not the highest. It's kind of right there in between. But because when you start to look at the business as a business and not just what is a monthly fee, what is the cap, what is the split, you start to really say, okay, even though there's an 80-20 split, I'm really only paying $16,000 into this cap to run my business. It's $16,000 a year to run my business. And the way that it's set up, once you do a certain amount of deals past your cap, which is approximately 20 transactions, then the company gives you that whole $16,000 back in the form of company stock. The whole $16K. And keep in mind that when they give us this stock, or when we earn this stock, because they're not giving us anything, right? It's a part of the model, and we're earning it. So when we earn, when we cap and we do a certain amount of deals past that cap, they award us with the entire $16,000 back in the form of company stock. And that's just mind-blowing.
So at the other real estate companies that you've dealt with, that you worked at before, you said you sold like 60 properties. Yeah, you never got any stock or any really, maybe an award, right? But you didn't get any, the amount of money that you paid in on the transactions, you didn't get nothing back, right?
No. Andre, I got a shelf right there with a bunch of trophies and certificates and things like that. None of them are worth anything today. They were worth what they were when they were given to me, and what they were worth is a hand clap. Congratulations.
Make you feel good. I mean, we all want some praise. It feels good, when we are, top dog or the number one agent in the company, or number two. It's gratifying, right? But you can't take any of those plaques to the bank, and they won't cash them in. Nope.
And the other thing is, once we were giving these stock awards, you're giving those awards at the current value that the stock is when it's awarded to you. So what that means is that it may start off at $16,000 or $16,000 worth, but as equity grows in the company, so does your stock award. So Brent Gove is one of our friends here, and he says, "What is that commission check worth today for that house you sold 3 years ago?
Right.
Better yet, what will it be worth in the next 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 15 years, 20 years?" And you just kind of start to look at things differently. And you say, okay, now this is not just going to benefit my family now because I can pay the rent, or that I can pay the mortgage and the car notes to send them to nice summer camps. But in the future, maybe this will benefit my grandkids and my great grandkids.
Right.
So that's a long answer to your question.
That's
about what originally attracted me to the company.
So if I'm listening properly, it sounded like, so you were selling real estate either full-time or part-time there for 8 years as you were working another full-time job, right?
Yes. Yep. I was selling real estate part-time and selling cell phones full-time. And then I stepped out and started selling real estate full-time. And I got to be honest, at some points, I was like, man, do I really want to do this? Like, it wasn't just all good. It was like, wow, did I make the right decision? It was tough. But just kind of standing there, grinding it out, and doing the right thing. And thank God the right opportunity, the right life-changing opportunity came along, which was this company. Yep.
I like to ask people, how long was your due diligence period when you started looking at EXP before you made the move? Was it weeks, months, years? I mean, how long was it?
Honestly, I saw it a year before I even considered it. And just like anything else, I said, just like I said a little earlier, if it's not broke, don't fix it. We were doing well. We were doing good. So somebody comes to you with an opportunity, you busy. First of all, we're all busy. So why look? I wasn't really considering it. But like I said, a year passed and some things took place that forced me to look at other options, because I also have my broker's license. So I was really just going to open up my own company and start my own brokerage. But then I took a deeper look at the opportunity, and it just made so much sense. And then even when I knew that it made sense, it still took me 3 months to fully transition over.
People don't like change. You don't like, are comfortable. Comfortable is a killer of all growth, right?
It is. But the other thing is, morally, I mean, I don't know if that's the right word, but we're connected to somebody where we are. No matter where we are, we're connected to that person. We're connected to a group, and we don't want to leave other people. Like, we don't want to. I love my broker. I love my team. I love this person that I work with, and we sometimes don't make the best decisions based on those emotional feelings. And I'm just glad that I finally got to the point where I made that decision. And now, honestly, I can't wait to help those people that I'm not partnered with anymore, because they need to be here with me.
Right. I want to make a shout out to Rick and to James, who are on the call. Thanks for jumping on the podcast, guys. I know there's Mary and Fred. Thanks for jumping on. If you have any questions for Levi, please put them in the chat there. But what was the most difficult part? It sounds like you were a solo agent at first, and then you were a team leader for a while at the other company. What were the most difficult parts as a solo agent and a team leader? And when you moved over to EXP, how did that change? What really helped you with those challenges that you had before this model?
Well, as a solo guy, the most difficult part was being able to work efficiently, to really do. It's one thing to be able to close a deal, but it's another. For me, I wanted to do it the right way. I'm all about the experience. And if one or two things went wrong in the transaction, I would have that check in my hand, but I would be beating myself up because I was like, man, what can I do next time to avoid that from happening? And then, once you start selling real estate, then you realize that, okay, it's something that's going to happen in every transaction. It's not, they don't really come out perfect all the time. But that was that right there. So honestly, as a solo person, my biggest issue was keeping that pipeline full. That was my biggest issue.
Roller coaster, right? Going up and down, up and down.
Yep. Because you're trying to make the experience great and put energy toward the experience, but at the same time, you got to be putting energy toward bringing in new business at all times. As a team leader, my biggest issue was being what's the word I'm looking for? As a team leader, one of the issues was still being able to generate enough business so that you can feed the team. So as a team leader, I consider myself as the rainmaker. So you go from generating business to generating the issue of generating business to the issue of generating more qualified business. And then, as a rainmaker, you generate this business and you share it with the members on your team. But sometimes everyone on your team is not as driven as you are. So you got to always be recruiting. You got to always be adding new people to the team. You have to always be training and supporting, which is also another level of juggling a bunch of hats, juggling a bunch of jobs and wearing a lot of hats. So that was kind of tough. That was a struggle, but it's one of those things that came with the territory. And many team leaders, if not most, are dealing with the same issues. But you asked, how did that change with EXP? It's really what's different at EXP is the culture, because here the culture is different. So that kind of helps you shape the attitudes and the mindsets of your team members, and you don't have to do it all on your own. The environment does it. So that's cool. So now everybody is a little bit more aggressive. Now people are happy because they're not just getting a commission check. They have ownership. They have the ability to get some passive income. They have all the training. So the training is not on me, all 100%. We can piggyback on other trainings, and we're connected with so many big people in the industry, like huge. So, I mean, here it's like going to a daggone real estate conference every single week because this company has attracted the biggest and the best players in the game. And every single week, somebody's doing a live event or they're doing something online, virtual, and we're all able to attend. So,
I mean, when we were in other real estate companies in the past, was there a lot of training and coaching and stuff there? And was that free or did you have to pay for it? And the training that you're just talking about just now, that's going on every day. How much do you pay for that?
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, so the first company that I was at, the last brokerage I was at, we got some great training. We had a great trainer, one of the best guys in the industry that's created a lot of millionaire agents that have done a lot of volume. But we also paid a lot of money for it. I mean, we paid thousands of dollars per month just to get a snippet of that. And there were other agents in that same organization across the country that paid way more than we did. And we went to the conferences and we went to the events and we also had like a big training once a month, which was great, right? But here we get the same thing. It is the same thing, and now we get it virtually for free. We're not paying thousands of dollars a month. We're partnered with the coaches. So it's one thing for you to pay a coach and pay for coaching, and that coach delivers to you, and it's up to you. It's always going to be up to you to deliver, take advantage of what you learn. But it's slightly different when that same coach or that trainer is in partnership with you. Like, we own this thing together. I'm not just going to benefit from teaching you, but I'm going to benefit from the results that you have. So they're kind of in the fight with you.
So you've been you and your team has been able to already go from 60 deals a year to 80 plus deals a year, but you're getting the same kind of or higher as high level coaching and training as you had before, but you're saving tens of thousands of dollars a year because you're not paying for it.
Absolutely.
And the people that are helping you, because they actually are financially aligned with you through the business model, when they help you go from 60 to 80 to 100 to whatever transactions, they benefit as well. As the company grows, we all grow through the stocks and through the revenue share and the other ways of the multiple streams of income that the model offers. That's cool.
Yep. And if anybody can look up NAEA, the National Association of Expert Advisors. Those are some of the guys that we're directly partnered with, Jay Kinder and Michael Reese, and everything that coaching program offers. Also with John Kitchens, Joel Hollow, like all these guys, Al Stasic, everything that program offers is delivered to our group for free. And it's just
everybody in EXP gets that, or is because of your personal group?
It's because of our personal group. It's because of our personal group. But awesome. I'm not just going to sit here and say that I haven't never seen these guys, or even myself, I haven't seen them. I've seen them sharing with people that are outside the group. The culture of collaboration is contagious here, and I say that a lot. But yes, within our group, within our organization, that's one of the main benefits that we get by partnering with each other. We're able to partner with those guys. And that's something that I really didn't know coming in. So I was lucky to just kind of come in and be partnered with that organization within EXP.
That's cool. And then EXP itself, they have, 50, 60 hours worth of training per week that's online and in the cloud. That's all live as well, right?
Yeah. You can't get to all of it. It's so much. There's some stuff going on right now as you and I speak. But it's training galore. In the cloud. And the good thing is that because you can't get to everything, it's all recorded. So you can get it on demand. There's still a lot of real estate agents out there like myself who work a full-time job. And those people can't be in those classes that are held in the middle of the day. but they can always go online and catch up. So that's a good thing as well.
Now, besides being able to grow your business and then you're having the stock and the other ways of earning income, don't you have a pretty cool story of how you're able to help out your family, your mom, and tell us that quick story if you don't mind.
Yeah. So after I was, in year two, first of all, I'll just kind of break it down. The reason I was able to help my mom and help a lot of my family is because I was able to help myself. And that's simply because of this model. And, I sold a few more homes than I had prior to, but it really wasn't that much more. But I was able to get out of debt first and foremost. I was able to take care of my family, my household, get rid of the car notes, get rid of the credit cards, get out of debt simply because of the model. That's first and foremost. Secondly, my mom is 65 years old and she had never owned a home. I was able to purchase a home. I renovated it and moved her in it. So now she's a homeowner at 65 years old, and now I'm stuck with the task of doing everything else she wants to get done at that house. So,
what feeling? I mean, as as a son, as a hard working, as a father, what did that mean to you?
Everything. I mean, I remember, the night that I gave her the keys and she came over and my aunt came over and we all just literally just bawled, like just cried. And it was the best feeling that I've ever felt in my life, to be able to do something like that for my mother. Because, our parents are the people who are going to be there for us no matter what. Whether we're right or wrong, they're going to ride or die. They're going to tell us when we're wrong, but they're going to always be there to support us. And just for me to be able to do that for her is a beautiful thing, simply because of this model. Same thing for my granddad. Like, my granddad got a new roof, got a new foundation. We didn't know that termites were eating up the house, but now he's comfortable at 89 years old, something that he doesn't have to worry about. I bought another property and moved my two brothers in it. So they were both sharing. They were both paying, high rents at different places, but now they're sharing a $1,200 mortgage payment. So it's just when you talk about life changing, like those are the type of stories you hear. And it's not just my stories, but it's stories that you hear throughout the company where agents have been able to just do these amazing things through this model alone by doing the same things that they were doing in other places. And I've never heard anybody else say that a real estate company changed their life,
right?
Until EXP. So it kind of gets disheartening and it kind of upsets you a little bit when you know something is good and you hear other people like not saying good things about it. It does make you upset a little bit, but I guess the way around that is for us to just keep shining and keep helping, keep delivering.
Yeah. And, people don't know what they don't know. If there's anyone saying anything negative, it's just they don't know. It's what they hear. I mean, hey, you start when I got plugged in 2.5 years ago, we had about 16,000 agents. Now, last I heard, we were over 64, maybe 65,000. Stocks. That we get a piece of was $8.15 when I got plugged in. Now it's what, $45 a share, and we had a stock split, since then. So we got that really like $90 a share for us. And we all get ownership, and that's a big deal.
Yeah, and growing. I mean, we're at 65,000 agents. I don't know. I don't want to say the wrong number, but 60-something thousand agents and constantly growing. And now we're not just in the United States or Canada. We're all over. We're in about 15 other countries.
Yeah, 14 or 16 other countries, something like that. Yeah, they keep growing. I can't keep track of it all. Yeah, pretty cool. Let me ask you, what surprised you the most about EXP? What were you not expecting that when you after you were here for a little bit?
To be honest with you, what surprised me is the people. the model was great, but I think the people make the model. Because to be honest with you, everybody talks about the model, everybody talks about the stock and the revenue share, which are great things. And in my opinion, that's going to be the model of the brokerage model of the future. Honestly, I think that every brokerage is going to have to do something like this. But the real magic is the people, the support, like just the attitude and the energy that everybody has. And everybody cares for one another. We really do feel like we're one big team. If somebody's selling houses in Texas or California or Oklahoma or New York, we feel like we're still one team. And everybody is always encouraging and celebrating and sharing whatever they can share to help the next man win. And we're reaching out. And the other thing, like EXP agents are reaching out to agents everywhere to try to bring them in so they can experience what we're experiencing. And that's what it's all about. It's the people.
And why do you think that is? Other big companies, franchises, of course, we're not a franchise, but other big companies, they have agents all over, the States and in other countries. Why do you think it's such a different feel here?
Mm-hmm. It's a different feel because now everybody is financially incentivized, period. I'm a great guy. You're a great guy. There's so many great people out there, but there's only so much that somebody can do for you if they're not being rewarded in certain ways. And the one thing that everybody needs on this planet to survive is finances. You need money. You need money to survive. And because EXP has created this culture where everybody is financially incentivized, I think that's what drives the attitude, and it's ownership. Everybody has a stake. So
when the company wins, we all win, right?
Yeah.
I've gone to several live events, met a lot of great people, and it's pretty cool. I got Tom Daves. He was what I understand, he was like the #1 Keller Williams agent in, I don't know if it was all of California or all of in the West Coast. I'm not sure exactly. His title, a pretty big deal. He's called me a couple of times. I'm doing a webinar for him on Friday with his team, and he's not in my group. He's not in our personal group, but he's within EXP, and he asked for help, so I'm helping. And of course, so we all work together to help each other grow, because as we help each other grow, the company grows, the stocks rise, and we're all owners in the company. And it's just it's a beautiful thing. I know a big question that, people ask, you mentioned the support that people get, and of course, from your team members, and they're financially aligned. We got some really great support, but what about the brokers? I have people ask, well, geez, the company itself has, I don't know how many, I don't know if you know the number of how many hundreds of employees that the company has, from the tech department and the brokers and such, but what kind of support do you get from the brokers being an online company?
It's very different. It's great. I think here in Georgia, we have three brokers here, and also a broker support staff for the state of Georgia. But it's different. The great thing is that, honestly, I hadn't had to call on them that much, but whenever I've had to call on them, they've been there. Because of the collaboration and everything that we have, there's so many other resources that you can reach out to and get the answers before you get to that broker. But previously, if you want to get your broker, what you got to do? Call them. If they don't pick up, you leave a voicemail. You email them, and you wait for them to reply, or you get on their calendar, set an appointment when you can. But here, we hop into the workplace chat and send a quick message. It's like our inner office chat, and you can get a response very fast there. You can jump into the world and get into your virtual avatar and literally pop into the broker's office, and it's somebody that's going to be on the schedule. Somebody will be there. One of those 3 brokers will be there to answer your questions during the business hours. So it's really great. It's cool. It's cool. It really is, and something that I had never experienced before.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're on call. There's at least one broker on call on a weekend, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, somebody on call every weekend. So if you need them, you got them. And say, for an example, if I want to, because we have agents that are in our expansion team that are in other places, in other states, I can go to the broker's office in California and talk to them. Any other state that we have, I can hit them up on the workplace chat and answer any questions, because, and that's what I've needed to use brokers for, mostly because when agents are onboarding, different states have different rules and different laws on how you affiliate with a new company. But the broker support all around has just been great.
Okay, awesome.
Yep.
Levi, what do you think about getting access to, you mentioned NAEA coaching and training, and Jay Kinder, Mike Reese, Hal Stasic on getting access to their actual schedules. Can you really just jump in there and get on their calendar? I know they're pretty big, high level guys selling, their team selling a lot of properties. Is it that easy to get in their schedule? How much do you take advantage of that? And what about the training that they offer on Facebook, and what other things are these guys doing that you've taken advantage of that's helped your business?
Man, you can catch them. You can catch them at any time. And this is something that nobody never thinks about. The reason that our partners are so accessible is because the model has allowed them to leverage their time, right? Everybody is not working in the trenches so much to where they don't have time to do other things. It's like me and you are sitting here right now, and we've been on this call, 37 minutes, and we both have businesses. Business is still being done because the model has allowed us to leverage our time. But yeah, all those guys are great. Everybody has their Calendly links. So when it's really official, I try to respect everybody's time and hop on their calendars, which is, you can always find a spot there open. But hey, when push comes to shove, you send a text message, they'll reply. You hop in Facebook, send them a message on Facebook Messenger, they'll reply. Brent Gove is another one, and he's great. I don't know how he does it, but I'll call that guy and he'll call me right back. So he's really leveraging his time, but everybody is so accessible. And that's what I really love about it. And the other thing about it is that, by you being able to connect to so many successful people, they're able to connect you with other successful people. So I've met so many people that, just to be quite honest with you, I never would have met if it had not been for this whole situation. There's no way that I would have connected with so many folks I've connected with if it had not been for the way that this whole thing is just set up. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we're getting down towards just the last couple of questions, Levi. If there was just one takeaway that you want to make sure that, if there's anyone on here listening today, a close friend of yours, somebody you really care about, what would you want to make sure they understood and they took away from our interview today?
Just slow down a little bit. I want you to slow down and think about how life could be, and think about how you want life to be in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And just consider this being a way to do it. You and I were talking with a gentleman yesterday. He's a great guy at the Panera Bread. And something I said to him was, because he was concerned about making another lateral move. And I told him, I said, if you made a lateral move, I promise you that this will be the best lateral move that you've ever made in your life, because it'll be life-changing. And it really will be. So, we don't do things because we don't have the time, and we don't do things because we don't really know how it could benefit us at the end, or if it will hurt us. But I promise, as long as things stay the way that they are, which it looks like they really are, there could be no better move for anybody that has a real estate license selling real estate, period. Whether you're selling one home a year or 100 homes a year, it's the best way to go.
All right, cool. Hey, one of my last questions, if you could join EXP all over again, what would you do differently? If you don't mind sharing, so any of your friends that are listening, was there a mistake that you made? And we want to make sure no one does the same, or, what would you have done differently, if anything, if you could do it all over again?
I wouldn't have thought so hard about it not working out. I would have just followed all the signs that were leading in the right direction and kept going. I would not have taken a year and 3 months, because now it all adds up. Like, I saw it a year before I even looked at it, and then it took me 3 months to transfer over. So I wouldn't have taken a whole year and 3 months, because a year and 3 months, if I had done this a year prior to me doing it, man, it would have. There's no words for it.
Yeah. What do you think? You did wait that year, what do you think that cost you income wise? Any idea? Have you done the math on that?
I hadn't done the math on it, but I'm sure that it's over $150,000, if not more. Mm-hmm. So seriously.
I think, I agree. It could be twice that.
Probably more.
Because of the growth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's still costing me, right? Because we're still growing. So it's not like, what did it cost me? What is it costing me? So that's what we need to say. Everybody think about, what is it costing you? Not what did it cost you? What is it costing you? What will it cost you in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years? Yeah. And that's how we need to be thinking about this thing. So there's not even a number on it yet.
Just think about it. If you let, you're doing good. You had one of your best years ever, right? And you're comfortable. But you were still in debt, and your mom was still renting, right?
Yeah.
And you've been able to, so that's life-changing, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's just so awesome. For what you've been able to do for your family. And I love you, man. I respect you. I'm so happy that my wife asked me to, I should reach out to you. I had mentioned that one time at a get together, whatever. I thought you had started your own company. I was thinking about joining a team, someone that had an existing company. I could just run in there and be a listing agent. That's what I really enjoyed doing. So I had no idea when I reached out to you that you didn't have your own company. But this is the way of having your cake and eating it too. We're business partners. And from here on in. Well, real quick, before we sign off, I like to ask people, hey, if you're a reader, what's the best inspirational book that you love? And if you're a movie watcher, what's the name of your all-time favorite movie?
So the Bible is my favorite book, because the Holy Bible is the rule and guide to all of our faith and practice, and there's nothing new under the sun that's not in the Bible. So that's my number one favorite book. I'll be honest, but my second favorite book, because it's probably the first book that I ever really read, and it was a tiny itty bitty book, is Who Moved My Cheese? That's the first one that I really read on my own, that wasn't like a part of a school project or something like that. Okay. And I read it and I fully understood it.
Who Moved My Cheese?
Who Moved My Cheese? Very simple book that I was able to understand, but there's a lot of life lessons in that book, and I've had to pivot so many times in life. So the Holy Bible and Who Moved My Cheese, those are my two favorite books.
All right, awesome. Well, hey, I appreciate your time today, Levi. We have your social media there at Levi Sell Real Estate. If anyone wants to reach out to you, and we got your phone number scrolling there as well.
And that's Levi Sells with an S. I didn't catch that. I've been looking at it the entire time. Levi Sells with an S. Real estate.
Good catch. So Levi add an S. Levi Sells with an S. Real estate. All right. And your 404 number. There we go. Yep. Any last minute thoughts or comments before we sign off?
No, I just want to say thank you to you. First of all, thank you for having me on this show. Thank you for agreeing to partner with me. You really changed my life, and you helped me and my family out so much. And this, like I said, it's the one opportunity you can have where you can partner with somebody and you can change their life and they can change your life at the same time. So I love you, man. And anything you need, you know, I'm here for you.
All right, brother. Good talking to you. We'll see you soon.
All right. See you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.